Hello, guten Tag, bonjour, whatever language you speak, welcome. This is a show that doesn't have a name because it's the first episode of this show. It's just me, a computer, a microphone, and that's about it. The point will be to do what apparently everybody else is doing because A, I have no talent, and B, no imagination. So I'm gonna do what everybody else is doing and review some games because it's COVID-19 times. Everybody's in quarantine. There's nothing to do but start a web series about video games, right? But let's crack on here. Today, for the very first episode of whatever this is going to be, is very special. It's very special for me. I'm reviewing a game that I've been looking forward to ever since I found out that it was being made. It is Snowrunner. I'm so excited. If you've ever played Spin Tires, if you've ever played Mud Runner, you're probably just excited as I am. I've played a little bit in the last 24 hours. The game was just released yesterday. It's very cool. Lots of very neat things in store for you. So let's have a look at all of them. The first thing I think you'll notice is just the difference in graphics quality. Compared to, there really is no comparison here between Snow Tires and Mud Runner and this game. It's so good. Look at that. My driver has fallen asleep at the wheel. That's a new thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. I've been sitting here for so long, the driver has fallen asleep. Probably because I've been talking for way too long. If I were him, I'd fall asleep too. So it's totally fine. Let's wake him up. There he goes. Ooh, okay. Whew. Must have been a horrible nightmare. But here we go. The graphics are way different, way better than they've ever been before. So well done to the people who did that. The next thing that's different is we have more recognizable names, brand names for vehicles. As you can see here, I'm driving a GMC, which I don't think is something that we've seen in a base game of this type before. So that's very nice to see. Some more recognizable models. Things that you might have seen driving around in your town. So that's very cool. Again, looking at the truck again, the vehicles again, this is very cool. Completely, uniquely designed interiors for every vehicle. Look at this. It's very cool. And they're all unique. The interior of every vehicle in the base game is different and unique. The gauges here actually work. Look at that. Rev counter goes up. The speedometer, if I can put it in drive, the speedometer works as well. The fuel gauge, as you can see down there, the fuel gauge actually works. It registers the correct amount of fuel that's in the tank. Very, very detailed, very well done. Another thing I like, properly rendered mirrors. Look at that. We've never seen that before in something like Spin Tires or Mud Runner. That's all new. And the ability to look out the window and behind you in a way that's realistic, and I think probably quite helpful during regular gameplay. So some very new, very cool things in the interiors of the vehicles. Let's head back out again. Let's quickly do a little bit of driving here, just around the map. I can kind of show you. Actually, I'm not going to do it in this truck because this thing is not good for any sort of off-road at all, and I'll get into why that is in just a second. But this gives me an opportunity to show you another feature in the game, and that is the ability to switch between vehicles just from the map. Look at that. So easy, so simple. All I had to do was lift a finger. That was it. But I guess if that's too much effort for you, tough. Sorry. What are you gonna do? But let's take a little drive around the map here and see what we're looking at. See some of that, some of those crisp graphics in action. Go this way. So this map that we're on here, it's set in the United States, in Michigan. It incorporates some paved roads like this, but also, as you will see momentarily, lots of mud, lots of standing water. Things to make, generally make life more difficult, but also more fun. Let's check out some mud. We'll make a quick right here. Down this little track, and we'll be careful going down there. So yeah, you can see the mud behaves a lot differently than it used to in the other games. It's much more realistic. Ooh, God, it slows. There's the horn. Blowing the horn. It slows down the vehicles much more realistically now. You really do need to plan your route carefully now, because there's just so much more realism, right? Another difference from the other games is the way damage is registered. If you remember before, damage was just kind of an overall thing. Your vehicles were damaged overall to a certain degree. If you had an accident or something like that. Now, the damage is much more realistic, much more simulated. Visually, damage is registered damage is registered visually on the vehicle through scratches, dents, things like that. They look a little better than they did before, a little more realistic. But also, if you look at the bottom left of my screen here, under the fuel, you'll see 5 little icons: a wheel, a gas tank, an engine, a transmission, and a coil spring. These denote how much each of those are damaged overall. However, we can get an accurate depiction of that if we go here, go to our functions menu, and click Show Damage. Now, we can see that almost every individual part here has can be damaged individually. So all four wheels can take individual amounts of damage. The engine, the fuel tank. The fuel tank can leak, by the way. If it's damaged too much, it will leak all the fuel onto the ground and you'll be stuck. Suspensions, gearboxes, things like that can all be damaged within the margins here. So the engine's 120, wheels are 50, tanks 50, suspension 120, gearbox 120. So you really, another incentive to plan your routes really well, so as to avoid damage like that. That will kind of rain on your parade, as it will. Keep driving. We'll head back over to our garage, so I can show you a little bit of the garage itself. Lots of differences, lots of juicy differences in there. Oh goodness, we'll be careful there. Oh, thank goodness this thing rides high. Otherwise, I would have been stuck. The winching system in this game is almost exactly the same as it's always been. No real differences there. Still very useful, still very easy to use. So we'll take a quick ride over to our garage. Here we are. And we will move to garage. Now, in the garage, if you look at the very top center of the screen, you'll see a bunch of little circles. You have lots of different garage slots, available for you to use. Each of them can have a different truck in it, a different vehicle in it. And to put a vehicle in there, you would drive it in here and hit the retain button, and then it's stored. But we'll quickly bring that back. There we go. The retain button also lets you move a truck to a different map. We'll get to that in a second. Hang on. Customizing vehicles. The customization of vehicles has been completely overhauled. The interface of customizing vehicles is so much easier to use than it ever was in Spin Tires or Mud Runner. I always found that customizing vehicles was really, really difficult and not very intuitive. Very hard to use. This is much better. And there's much more customization to be had as well. You can buy engines for different vehicles. Of course, for another vehicle, all of these will have completely different options for you to use. You can do visual stuff. The visual stuff will not affect the way the vehicle drives in any way, shape, or form. Just makes it look better. You can customize it to make it look however you want it to look. You can also change the paint, which is a lovely thing, and you have tons of options. And again, they're all different for every vehicle. I'm going to leave it like it is because I kind of like the green and the orange kind of 70s vibe going on here. I like it. Lots of different and new vehicles for you to use. When you're first starting out, you get one vehicle as standard, unless you buy the DLC, in which case you get two. But the opening standard vehicle is this one, the Chevrolet CK1500. A simple little pickup truck with selectable all-wheel drive. But we also have a selection of highway vehicles. And as you can see, some of them require you to reach a certain level to unlock. Some of them are not available on... some of them are only available on certain maps. So be watchful for that. We have highway trucks. We have heavy-duty vehicles. We have heavy trucks, including this very cool Caterpillar machine here, which I'm very much looking forward to finding that one. Looks like a lot of fun. Off-road vehicles. Again, here are some that aren't available in the USA, available on other maps. And scout vehicles. The scout vehicles are very good for exploring the map. They're small, robust, agile. Very, very handy to have at least one or two of these around. So let's go back. Let's check out the map now. Because the map is different. Oh, look at that. I have spawned inside another vehicle. Lovely. Let's fix that. There we go. Okay, so the map. As you can see, the map is a lot more detailed than it ever was. One thing that's roughly the same, the watchtower system of discovering different map areas is the same. You just drive up to it to discover it, and then it'll show you whatever is within that kind of black circle there. But the map, is much more detailed. There's lots more to do, lots more to explore. There are fuel stations around the map now, which are very handy. There's a couple of them here. One new thing that I like is the addition of not so much a story arc, but just more, I guess, more rounded missions and stuff. If you remember from the other games, the missions were very static, and very very tame. There was never really much to do in a mission. It was mostly just, deliver materials from point A to point B, and that was pretty much it. Now we have lots to choose from. We have contracts, contests, and tasks. The contracts are your kind of missions that are more like what we know in Spin Tires or Mud Runner. Delivering materials from point A to point B, using the proper vehicle. Those are pretty straightforward. We don't need to go through those. However, contests are different. Contests, as the name implies, is a contest to see how fast you can do a given task. In this case, deliver consumables ×2 to the drilling site. Completing the task in certain amounts of time, as you see under rewards, will offer different rewards in the form of stars, which are experience points, XP, and certain amounts of money. You also have certain things to avoid. You can't go to the garage for this one. Can't change your truck. Can't recover the vehicle. If you do, you're punished in some way. And there's also a maximum amount of damage that you can receive before you incur some sort of punishment. So that's very new and very cool to see. The tasks are generally pretty simple, kind of one-off little things that you can do around the map. Clearing a roadblock. Here's what is this? We need create alternate routes around the area. Interesting. Very cool. Some of it is rescuing a truck, as like here, or a search mission where you have to find a piece of missing machinery and rescue it and then deliver it back to where it came from. So there's that. This game also has multiplayer. I found out the other day. I've seen one person do a multiplayer video on YouTube. Looks really cool. So maybe I'll have to get some friends together to try that out, so you can see what it's like. But yeah, it's I think overall the game is completely different than any other game of this type that we've seen in the past, and I would definitely recommend. I think it's definitely worth it. However, there is one downside to this, and that is this game is not yet available on Steam, which I know will be a disappointment to many people. It's right now only available on what is it? Origin Games? No, not Origin. What the heck is it called? Whatever launcher Fortnite is available on. If anybody here plays Fortnite, I can look really quick. I don't remember what it's on. I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember, but I can't. But yeah, it's not available on Steam, which is too bad. Hopefully there's a plan to remedy that in the future. But it is available for, I think, around $35, $40 off Steam. But even if it's not on Steam, I still think it's very, very worth it. Definitely worth the money. Definitely worth the hassle of not having it on Steam. So I hope this little demonstration convinced you that this game is worth it. and I hope you buy it. And I hope you have a lot of fun playing Snowrunner. I'll be back soon, hopefully, with another game, maybe a new game, maybe an old game. We'll have to see. But until then, take care, stay safe, wash your hands, eat your veggies, get some fresh air, and we'll see you again real soon with another gameplay video on episode 2. Take care. Bye-bye.